Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Praise the Lord. It's a blessing to be here today. And I hope you're doing good. I am doing great. And I got a quick message that I just need to go ahead on and get off my heart and my chest. Wow, it is burning hot. Because I had this message before and I didn't bring it. And so this time I'm going to go ahead on and bring it to you. So, not sure yet how I'm going to title this message, but it's going to be something along the lines of, no matter what plans you have, God's plan will prevail. So it'll be something along the lines of that. I don't know yet what it'll say, but I was just first I'm gonna give you a little story, and I was just thinking about this time last year. Okay, so this is concerning my job and where I am right now. So this time last year, last year I went through some changes on my job, changing managers, and just going through some changes, and the last manager that I have, she was a pretty decent competitive manager. She's one of them managers that kind of got you on your toes and everything. If you falling short, she was gonna do her best to get you back up on your toes. So she was who she was. And so after going through the process of being up under her for a while, and God used her to tighten me up in some places where I needed to have been tightened up at, some places that I was falling short. And so God used her. Because I ain't gonna lie and tell you I was all perfect now. God used her to really tighten me up in some places that I was falling short. So glory be to God. Yes, He did. So God had reason for me to be up under her for a time. He had reason for me to be up under her for a time. And so I didn't think I was gonna we finna be honest. I didn't think I was gonna last as long as I did. But the Lord had another plan. God had another plan. He said, "Now you ain't going nowhere. We finna tighten you up, but you ain't going nowhere. We gonna tighten you up around the edges. We gonna smooth out them rough edges you got going on, but you ain't going nowhere." I was like, "Okay, Jesus, okay." So as we got to the end, close to the end of the year last year, I had a plan. When I say I had a plan, I had a plan. And I had a plan. I didn't have no backup plans. I ain't have nothing waiting. I had a plan. And my plan was, I'm fixing to let this job go. I'm fixing to let this job go in January of 2024. And I'm going to be done. And Lord, I'm just going to wait for you to bless me with something else. I don't know what it's going to be. I ain't got nothing saved up because I done this quite a few times in my past. So that ain't nothing new to me. I have done this before. This time was going to be a much harder time, but I've done it before. And so I had a plan. Child, I'm getting ready to leave. I ain't finna do this no more, Jesus. I'm done. Did you hear me, Lord? I'm done. I'm done. So the Lord knew what I was thinking about. He knew what I was planning. And I was really set on, I'm gone in January 2024. I'm gone. And so while I had that plan in my mind now, that was it. I had my plan. I hadn't wrote out my resignation letter yet, but that was my plan. It was going to happen. In my eyes, it was going to happen. And so as we got closer on to the end of the year, I started noticing some things were changing. Like with my logins and my groups, we use like Microsoft Teams. I work from home for anybody that don't know. So I was noticing that my group was changing. My Microsoft Teams group was changing, and little small things kept changing. I was being removed from the group and stuff, and I'm like, what's going on? Something going on. Ain't nobody told me nothing yet. What's going on? And it seemed like something happened where I was removed from my present manager's group, or something happened that made me wonder, is my manager fixing to leave, or like what's getting ready to happen? And so I waited. I didn't ask no questions. I waited, and then finally I had a meeting with my manager. And that's when she went on to let me know that, hey, I'm moving to a whole different department, so you're going to be going up under somebody else now. So I'm going to a whole new department. Glory be to God. And when she told me that, well, Lord, I might not be leaving after all. Lord have mercy, Jesus. I said, Lord, well, I might not be leaving after all, because you already know that's the main reason I'm getting ready to go, because I can't do this no more. I ain't finna work up under her no more. Lord have mercy, Jesus. And so, yeah, once she told me that, and I realized things were getting ready to change, my plans changed immediately. So God had another plan for me, whereas I had another plan for myself. He said, no, you ain't going nowhere. You think you're going somewhere, but you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere, child. And so by the end of the year, by the beginning of the new year, I was up on the new management. And it took a little time, because I went through a temporary manager, and she was great. She was great. At that time I was hoping they would just have left me up under her. But she was great. So I went through a temporary manager, while at the beginning of the year they were maneuvering things around and getting new people set in positions and set in place and stuff. And so finally I was moved up under my new and present supervisor / manager that I have now, that I've had pretty much this whole year, might as well say, and continuing on. And so I really just feel like I have hit the jackpot and have just got the greatest supervisor / manager ever now. But I had to go through somebody that I didn't necessarily want to go through to get to what I have now, to get who I have now. And like I said, she is one of the greatest that I've had on this job that I'm currently working with. And so I say all that to say, for one, we can make many plans. But God's plans will ultimately prevail. And that's what I want. I don't care what kind of plans I make, God. If my plans are not lining up with your plans, then cancel my plans and let your plans prevail. Because ultimately I want my plans to line up with his plans for me, and not me trying to make him line his plans up with my plans. So God's plan will ultimately prevail. That's number one. And number two, the second thing to get from this is, you got to go through certain things. You got to go through certain people. You got to go through certain situations before you can get over here to, how do I put this? Maybe the promised land. You got to go through that valley situation before you get over here to this promised land. Because I had to go through kind of a tough situation that I didn't necessarily want to go through that last manager before I got over here to my new manager. And so I'm thankful, because I'm so much better than what I was. I operate so much better than what I did. I ain't perfect now, child. I am not 100% perfect, but I am a much better care coordinator. I am a much better phone agent than what I once was. I'm doing better than what I once was doing. I'm handling a lot of the calls better than what I once was. I ain't finna say all them calls are perfect, because all of them ain't. Because there's still a few of them facilities that really frustrate me. But I've come a long way, and I can honestly say I'm better than what I was, because of the manager that I had to go through to get to where I'm at now. I ain't want to go through it now, but I had to. And I don't even want to make this sound like she's the worst manager in the world. She's just highly competitive, and she made it clear that she wanted all her call agents to be top-notch agents. And I had it in my mind like, I ain't finna be no top-notch agent. I'm just here to work. Y'all, I would crack myself up while telling y'all these stories. But I think going through hers has kind of put me on that journey to almost being a top-notch agent. I ain't gonna say I'm a 100% top-notch agent, but I think I'm pretty decent, if I might say anyway. So that's that. So if you don't get nothing else from this story, just know that God's plans will prevail. No matter what your plans are, you can have a plan solid. That plan solid, you already know what you're going to do. You got it set. You got a time set. This is going through. You just know this fixing to happen. This is going through. And then all of a sudden, God just makes some changes and just cancel your plans. You ain't fixing to do that. I ain't tell you we're going to do that. You ain't doing that. He just come right in and just cancel everything. He's like, no, this is what we getting ready to do. And then the next thing that I would like for you to take from this message is just know you got to go through to get to on the other side. You might have to go through a rough patch. You might have to go through a rough manager. You might have to go through a rough supervisor before you get over here to one of the greatest managers or supervisors that you've never had before. Because God just want to tighten you up. He want to smooth out them rough edges you got going on, and He got to take you through somebody that you don't necessarily want to go through to get you over here, because I'm preparing you for something. So I need you to go through this, and I know you don't want to. It's going to hurt you. You ain't going nowhere, because I'm not going to let you go nowhere. But I need you to go through this so you can get over here. I'm like, Lord, if you say so. So that's that. If you don't take nothing else from this message, please take those 2 points from this message. I hope this message help who it needs to help and reach who it needs to reach at the time that it needs to reach you. Thank you for tuning in to my channel, because you had so many other channels that you could have stopped and listened to, but you chose to stop and listen to this word that I had, and I appreciate you for that. So thank you. I hope to see you again, but if I don't, it was nice to see you today. Hope you have a great rest of your day today, and I will see you in my next video.